Hello everyone, and thank you for joining me again. Today we are doing something a little bit different. I was going to do the Laravel CRM stream, and then one of the people in Discord asked about something and it's been bugging me for a while, so I thought, why not? We'll give it a go. Completely unplanned, it's been on my mind, but let's see how this goes. As you can see from the extremely big title on the screen, we are going to be building an asset management system. Now, if you're not sure what an asset management system is, it's a tool that businesses use to manage their hardware, their software licenses, who's got access to what, and those sorts of things. You know, it's a really small, useful tool for a small business to use. Hey, Michael, thanks for coming, buddy. So, I haven't really done any planning. No planning whatsoever, but I'm using Laravel and Filament. So all I've done so far is install Laravel, show you the composer file. All I've done is add in pest and Laristan. I still need to activate pest, so I can, is that going to work? Nope. Install pest. There we go. Hello, new face that I've not seen before. How are you doing? Right, so I suppose the first thing to think of is I can get the Laravel installer to work. So I'm going to have a look at that a little bit later. But what I need to do is install Laravel Jetstream, because I'm going to make this super simple. I just want it to work. Installation. Let's just install that. Hey David, how you doing, my friend? You okay? That's installed. Just what we wanted. Right, okay. Jetstream install and Teams. So I'm actually going to use Teams for a change. Ooh. There we go. Cool. So that should be that installed. Finalize, npm run, npm install some stuff, run some dev in the background. Oh, come on npm. So how's everyone doing today? Doing okay? Oh, phone's going a little bit mental over here. So, here is our application. I've got Docker set up already. I've already installed Docker. It's already available. It's already running. That bit's not set up yet. Filament isn't a tall stack, so Tailwind, Alpine, Livewire and Laravel. It's a tool stack admin component library, I suppose. It's pretty useful if I'm really honest with you. Classic inertia. Why is there inertia there? Okay, so let's do a little bit of cleanup. Something's gone a little bit wonky donkey in there, hasn't it? So we have got some inertia middleware being loaded that shouldn't be loaded. Oh, why is this just playing around with me? Come on. Here we go. Shouldn't be any inertia middleware going on. Jetstream source. Okay, something's gone very wonky there. Vendor frames, pipeline, substitute bindings. Okay, so now we've installed it. Let's go look at our code base and see what's actually being loaded here. because I think maybe that's got something to do with it, perhaps. Let's go to our resources and our views. There should be nothing going on that could cause this. Very strange indeed. Go to the router, transforming request, handling calls, pipeline stuff in the kernel. Okay. Let's move PHP Storm to this side of Google. Here we go. Let's put you over here, please. Now I can quickly come back. And here we go. We're back to it. We had a funny moment there, but we are back. So, where to start? We've got... Yeah, I'm pretty sure I ran that. I did. So now, just close all that down. The first thing we want to do is Filament. This is Filament for anybody who has not used it. I'm going to drop that link in the chat quickly. Here we go, filamentadmin.com. What I'm quickly going to do is just going to meet myself on there in case I need it. There we go. So, go straight to the documentation because I know I want to use it. I don't need to ask questions, I just need to get using, right? So installation. All it is a composer require away. Downloading, installing, and we're pretty much done at that point. I'm going to create a Filament user. Test@email.com. Oh, okay. Aha. So. Thank you for coming. I can't even spell my name tonight. It's a good sign. Okay. Migrate. Ooh. Okay. So, let's have a look at what's going on here. Migrate some stuff. So far, so good. You haven't missed anything yet, Ben, don't worry. So now if I go to here and go /admin, I have got an admin panel ready to rock and roll. How cool is that? So I can go test@email.com with the password, and I'm in, straight in. And yeah, I don't need to do much more than that right now. That kind of does what I need. So what's next? Publishing config. Cool, we can publish some config. It's always useful. publishing the translations. Well, I don't need them, but I will pop them in there. You never know when you need the translations. That's how you upgrade. That's pretty cool. Cool. So, getting started. How do we get started? Create a filament resource. Set in the title attribute and forms. Okay. So, what we need to do is have a think. So, we have users and teams. So, let's have a look at the code and see what it's already pre-set up for us in terms of filament. Let's just reload all of this from disk. In case it's going to be silly. No? Okay. So I need to make a resource. Bring that back over here. Make a resource user. Make filament resource, okay. Okay. I'm going to go for team first. Let's see what happens. So we've made a resource now. So it creates an app filament resources directory and it starts putting things in there. So if I refresh this, we've got teams. App models team not found. Team resource, that is coming from the team class. So what I need to do is quickly just come to composer and I'm going to force 8.0 to stop any issues. Let's try and load that one. So what we'll do is we're going to import that from Jetstream team because I don't believe we've got a team in here. Yeah, my usual playlist didn't work. Oh, abstract class. Okay. New PHP class. Team. Extends. Jetstream team. I'm going to leave it at that and see what it does. So. Import that one. Ooh. Okay, so with Jetstream, what do I need to install? Application logo, vendor publish, some views, teams, team settings, team creation. Do I need to publish anything at all? I don't like using that one anymore. Vendor publish. Make migrate. Hey, teams, no record found. So I can go to a new team. I can create a team. Ooh. So it's creating lots of stuff for me in the background. That's cool. Here I build tables, relationships, create team. This is just a livewire component at this point, I believe. So let's go double check what the docs want me to do here. Tables. Sure, once you get into the kind of flow of this isn't actually that bad. Setting a title attribute, so like that. Cool. So we're going to load from there. attribute is that. There's a form. So if I try to create one, create a team, team create. Okay, so on this team resource, the form there. So if we go to a team model and go back to here, I don't know what it's actually got. I'm pretty sure it's got is like an ID and a name. So we should be able to just do like a text input name that's required, something like that. So close that off because we don't want that. Text input name required. Come back to teams, new team. Aha. Cool. Okay, so when it comes to like the user ID, what do we do with that sort of thing? That's an interesting one. Relations, schema. Can we override things to pivot attributes? I suppose we could do like a is that like a select or something like that? Maybe that would work. Form builder. Fields. Hidden. Okay, hidden. Make is going to take name. Okay, something funny going on here. We could do another hidden one here, or we could do maybe a checkbox. So there's got to be a checkbox somewhere, right? checkbox. Let's do it like this for now. How did this come across? Ooh. Hey, we've got teams. List teams. So when we're listing, we need to go to the table, tables, this, to say columns, filters, so like text column for example. This is on the resource, I believe. We've got a text column, and this is going to be for the name. Cool. So well, that kind of works. I mean, this is definitely something that I'd need to dive into a lot more deeper on a planned stream. So what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to focus more on some domain modeling, just to make sure I get all of this right. We'll swing back around to Filament. So I've got Filament dashboard up and running, nice and easy, creates a user for me, they can then go and do stuff. So what I need to start looking at the domain. So when you think about an asset management system, you think about hardware, you think about software, what they both have in common is a provider. So let's make a model. We're going to create that with a migration and a factory. So there's our provider. And what our provider is going to be, it's going to be things like Apple, Google, Microsoft, those sorts of providers. So all they're going to have is a table, UID, unique, and name for now. To start with, this is going to be really basic. Unique, and then a name, and then that is it. That's all we want on there. UID and a name. So if we come over to our model, come to our provider, haven't got any casts. What we're going to do while we're doing this is just make analyze, and let's just have a look at what's static analysis. So we've got quite a few static analysis things going on with our filament components. With a default 4 to 5 sort of stuff. Loads of stuff that I could do with cleaning up, but right now I'm just gonna pretend that didn't happen. So we got a UID and a name. So if we come down to our factory, we've got a provider factory down here. A name, and we're just going to say this Baker company, and that should be all we need there. So we're going to have some commonality between some of these, so have some concerns in there, and we're going to add the has UID trait, and this is obviously a trait. So we're going to add a public function boot has the UID, a void method, and all we're going to do is a static creating when our model is being created, we want to say that the model UID is equal to string UID to string. However, this is going to fail static analysis. So we can tell it to ignore because it's a random model. There's no guarantee of what we're attaching that to, so we can't resolve that property off of the class that we're pulling in. So what we're going to add down here now is has UI use has UID. That will then boot that up when we are ready, so we can migrate that. Okay, apparently an unexpected table variable. That sneaky M coming in again. I do that every stream, at least twice. So we've got a provider. And what our provider is going to be, it's going to be things like Apple, other things. Apple gets springing to mind because I use Apple devices. So what's next? We probably want to look at something like, not a provider, but we want to look at something like hardware. So let's go look at hardware. So what are we going to have on our hardware? We're going to generate a unique string for this one for the UID. I'm going to make this soft deletable because I don't want it to be easy to get rid of hardware options. That's the sort of thing that should be soft deleted and then force a little bit later. So it is also going to have foreign ID of provider ID, kind of index that, and constrained. The table is defaulted in there. There's no nullable, so we're going to say on delete cascade. So the hardware. Hey Ollie. So if you think about your typical hardware, what you're going to have, you've got the provider, so the Apple, that's like the manufacturer. You're going to have a table of the make, model, and some sort of serial number, right? That could be one of many things. Most, if it's a phone, it's got an IMAI. If it's a Mac, it's got it's got a serial number. Most things have a serial number, and we've got makes and models for most things. Provider Apple, Mac Mini. Now, how far into this could we go, right? I mean, we could dive right down into how much RAM has it got, how much CPU has it got, how much, what display is it using. But I think that's going to go too far into the domain for now for a simple solution. So for now we're going to make model serial, evening Nathan, then we're going to go table string, what else are we going to want? We've got make model add serial. So we can say that it is a Mac Mini. Something like that, that'll be the serial. And then you'll have what else would you like to store in it? The operating system it's currently using, so that could be like macOS Monterey version 1, something like that. You know, something, you know, relatively useful from your perspective. Yeah, I think that's what I might look at doing further down the line, Ollie, is, you know, create specifications. So this is hardware that you use, and yes, I will be using enums, don't worry. Although I won't use an enum for the OS because that's just not going to work. We're going to add a type. This one is in particular a desktop. Oh, not polymorphism. Without going too in-depth into specific use cases, generically that would be enough for me. I'd like to see it go a bit further, personally. I think it could definitely go a little bit further. What I like to do is just separate those out a little bit so that I know I've got my identifiers. I know I've got my kind of my attributes. I've got any relatable keys in there, and then I've got my timestamps right at the end. So down here, I'm going to have a table date time of purchased at, which isn't nullable. So you've got to say, okay, I purchased this, or I loaned this, or something. Okay, so we're going to go for Ollie's suggestion there, because that's actually a good shout, especially from a filtering perspective. OS name and OS version. So that's macOS Monterey. Version that. That, I suppose that way if you had like specific Windows devices that's using Windows 8 still, you could quickly find a filter to see who's using them. Yeah, but I've used a solution before, Robin, that's building lots of dynamic stuff, and it was just too much. It just required too much setup. I just want to be able to go and create a provider and say, right, I've got all of these. And then these are obviously checked out to a user. So we can say table, foreign ID, user ID. What's going on with my typing today? We're going to index that, and we're going to say that's constraint. And when the user's deleted, we don't want to delete anything, so we will null on delete that one. So we need to make this nullable, because if it's not belonging to a user, we want it to be null, right? Table string status, where is it, basically? You know, is it loaned? Is it damaged? Is it in storage? Is it in for repair? You know, all of these sorts of things are the different statuses that that hardware device could be in. You know, this is with Jimmy, and the provider is Apple, and it was purchased at 2021. So something really random like that. So yeah, no, I totally agree with you there, Robin. You know, if you're building something for customers, that's like an attachment in an ERP style system, then you want that fully dynamic aspect to be available, because you don't know their requirements. This is my experience from a small business perspective of how I'd like to track it and what would be useful for myself. Different levels of systems, obviously. You know, so, those fully dynamic ones are great for certain things, and Snipe IT is a perfect example of that one. What I need is something a little bit less set up, more just install and get going. and that is what I'm trying to build here. So we have a hardware, we have a make and model, serial number, OS version, type, status. I mean, I suppose I can go a little bit further, and I can say how much RAM does it have? You know, if you only buy certain ones, you can put that into a helper. Table string. What CPU does it use? Uses an M1. Let's pull up that about my Mac again, so we can get full information. Apple M1. Yep. And you could do warranty. Yep. That could be, I suppose, a Boolean, wouldn't it? I suppose. Does this have warranty? Warranty expires at. I think for things like warranty and Apple Care, I'd rather add that as like an attachment to the hardware. So it's not necessarily an attribute of the hardware. It is something that comes with the hardware. Like, let's say you bought a specific Mac and that had a magic mouse as a deal to go with it. It's an attachment. It's a peripheral. And the Apple Care that you can buy is not part of the hardware itself. It's just covering the hardware for a specific amount of time. So I definitely think I should look at attachments that you can attach, like important files that you could name and that sort of stuff. Yeah, they wouldn't know all of it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go through and make some of these nullable. Because if it's a phone, you are absolutely right. You're not going to know, you know, okay, some people might know the CPU because you can find that out, but not everybody's going to know that. OS version and OS name, serial number, all of this stuff you should be expected to know, because this is more from an operational perspective. You're going to get this, you're going to lock it, and then you're going to pass it out, and it could be in transit. There's another one, and that helps. I use an Apple M1 chip. So what I like to do when I'm building something like this, that, you know, could be a little bit vague to someone coming out to us from the beginning, is go through a full solution and go, okay, add these little comments next to each part of the migration and say, okay, so this is what I mean by this. I mean, yeah, you could go through, you could add like I'm pretty sure you can add a note, or you can add things. I know you can in MySQL anyway. You can add things to like add a description of what this should be. I don't know if this actually table supports that one. No. But it'd be cool if it could. If you could kind of programmatically put those examples in there, because that would be definitely, I think, useful. But for now, I think that is probably enough to get us started, right? So let's pull this over here and let's get started. So eGPUs, which are under hardware. Yeah, so you can fill that in quite easily. OS, I suppose, it's going to come with an OS, I guess, like an embedded one. So I suppose that could be nullable. I suppose hardware-wise, not everything's going to have an OS. You know, a mouse is a hardware. It's hardware. This could be desktop. I suppose we've got to find the difference between peripherals and hardware, right? So we've got desktop, phone, tablet, laptop. And I'll probably call it a day with that for hardware, and we'd probably end up going for other things for peripherals. You know, the peripheral things that are needed that need another piece of hardware to operate, like an eGPU, for example. So let's start with here. So this is, you know, use has UUID. This is my favourite part of any project, by the way. The part when we're going through and we're starting to understand the domain, understand the data requirements, and we're, you know, getting into those interesting conversations about, okay, so what do we need? What do we need to store? What can we do here? We're going to have that UUID, we're going to have that make, we're going to have that model. What sorry, what I might do, I might speak to Dan Harron about jumping on board and helping with Filament, because that might be quite useful, getting it from the author's perspective. And it also means that he can help me fix things that are some strange requirements that I'm going to suddenly come up with just to wind him up. I hope he's not watching. I hope he's not watching. So we've got type, we've got RAM, and we've got CPU. Then of course we have also got the status. We've got the user ID. And we've got the provider ID. So all of that is pretty much purchased at. Almost forgot that one. Right, then we're going to cast. The only thing that we've really got to cast is purchased at to a date time. I'm debating about if we need a boolean in here right now. I have a boolean of is this current hardware? Is this something that we've got in stock or out, or is this something that we used to have in case we need to report them back things? I don't need those types in the doc block. I just like them, Ollie. It makes me feel like I know what I'm doing. Default is going to be true. So by default, this is this a current piece of hardware? Because ideally what you'd want to do from a business perspective is you'd have all this hardware, and let's say in 5 years time you want to run a report against, okay, so how many pieces of hardware have I got over, how much hardware have I worked my way through over the last 5 years? We've managed to damage 5 MacBooks because people aren't being careful enough, but we didn't have Apple Care. Maybe we should look at adding that going forward to save ourselves a little bit of money and protect our assets. Interesting little things like that we can look into. I know I don't need both, but I want both. I want them both. It looks nice. It looks nice, Ollie. So public function provider. I apologise to everyone. Me and Ollie have got quite a funny relationship. Very funny relationship. I generally do things to wind him up, and he doesn't realise until I tell him I'm trying to wind him up, and then he gets annoyed with me. But that's just me and Ollie. Ollie's a great guy. He's also a streamer, so Ollie, feel free to drop your link in the chat there, buddy. Be awesome if people could find your stream as well. He made me a moderator the other day, so now Ollie can be a moderator. Yeah, exactly. It's why you lease hardware a lot of the time, right? And at work, we were leasing hardware. But it's not always perfect leasing hardware, right? You're stuck in for 2-3 years. My choice to be right. Thank you, Ollie. Thank you very much, as usual. And we're going to drop that provider ID in there. So a lot of people ask me why I bother adding all of these things, and I like to be declarative with this. I just like to be super declarative over how I want this to work. So public function owner, who owns this hardware currently, belongs to. I'm just going to grab that because it saves me typing loads. I'm going to swap the provider to a user. I'm going to swap that to a user ID. Value depreciation. I mean, it's all things that we could add. That is true. It's definitely, I mean, if you've got 50 machines, leasing them makes quite a bit of sense, right? Should we add a purchase price? Should we be looking at these sorts of things? Do you think that's something that's potentially valuable for a business? How much should I buy this piece of hardware for? Or is that getting too deep into it right now? I think for now that's getting too deep into it. I think I'll add that in later and come back and have a look at how I'd add that and approach that, because there's a lot more I can do with this. So we've got status and we've got current we need to add up there as well. We've got publish date time, and we've got current as a boolean. So there we go, that's those. So we can get a provider and we can say public function hardwares. Just sounds wrong, doesn't it? Hardwares has many. Turn this has many. Related is going to be hardware. Class foreign key is provider ID. That's hardware's done. And just to annoy Ollie, I'm going to do that. And then again, we're going to add that, and we're going to add it here too. Hey Dan, I was just talking about you. I might need some help with Filament at some point. If you ever have a moment, it would be awesome to get you on stream and get some help. Just to annoy Ollie, I'm going to add these in as well. Just because, you know, at one point I lived to annoy Ollie. I didn't really, we just had fun. Really like Ollie. He's actually got my old job and he's doing a fantastic job, I must say. So hardwares, I mean, I hate that name, but for now I'm going to use it. So the user has many hardwares, so we're going to return this has many related, and we're going to say hardware class, and that foreign key is user ID. I need help. Yeah. Thank you very much, Andy. Yeah, super shocked at getting Laracon. I was like, oh yeah, I submitted a talk. Oh no, now I've got a live code in front of however many people is going to turn up. Slight panic. But no, it's great. Absolutely super excited about it. I'm actually thinking of using a GitHub API for the example, but I'm toying with something. I'm not going to say what it is yet, but I'm toying with a way to make API testing locally easier when you've got no internet connection. So I'm going to play with that. Right, so I need to now just make migrate quickly. Drop that up there, there's my hardware. Done. So now I need to, we need to do like software, right? We've done hardware, or maybe we'll go peripherals. Now I know I've probably spelled that wrong. So we'll do what every good developer does and pop it into Google Translate. Peripheral. There we go, peripherals. You're gonna watch just to make sure I feel extra nervous, are you? That is obviously very appreciated, Ollie. Just because there's not enough pressure in live coding and we have Ollie heckling from the sidelines. Very unique. We need obviously UID on that one. So when it comes to peripherals, you've got things like keyboard, mouse mat, Stream Deck, microphone, big ass bloody light. Yeah, there's lots of different things that you can have. So I'm going to have to keep this relatively vague because I don't know how far we can actually go into that one without starting to get too specific. Obviously we need like a purchase at. Then we're also going to need like a status of it and a current, like that. Again, we're probably going to want soft deletes. because everyone loves soft delete. Soft delete all the things. It's obviously going to have a provider. Keychron, that's a provider. Drop those in there. So the only thing that I need is we're going to have a make and a model. It is a Keychron K2. And then at most, I am going to add on type. Type and serial. Type and serial. So like the serial number for if it is applicable, because not every bit of hardware is going to have some sort of serial number. So this could be mouse, microphone, keyboard, those sorts of things. Yeah, humble brag. I don't own these. The light, the Stream Deck, the microphone, the DLSR, that was all purchased by Jump24 so that I could do developer relations stuff further down the line. So the Keychron K2 I do own. That was a lovely present from my wife. The mouse was £15 off of Amazon. You don't have to get a £30, £40, £50 mouse to point click. I try to use a keyboard as much as possible if I'm really honest. So that's peripherals. To be honest, I'm pretty sure that's pretty much it for peripherals. I don't see peripherals being a massive thing. There's our has your UID. Yeah, and there you were thinking I was flush with cash. Now I'm borrowing it from work. I've got a house and kids. I'm not flush with cash. I'm broke as anybody else. So here's your UID. Here's make, model, type, serial, status. I'd love to look at getting like a state machine on this. So you could say, okay, so this is now out for repair and it goes through a state. That'd be awesome, but I think I need to research into how to do that nicely with Laravel, right? Yeah, if you take out the work stuff, I mean, my 49-inch monitor was expensive, but that was like a business purchase when I was self-employed that I very quickly became not self-employed after the fact. But the business is still operating, so there we go. Right, current status, current, then we've got user ID and provider ID. Now, as you can see, I'm very clearly team fillable, and it is for many, many, many reasons. One of which is, as you saw when I went to look at the team model for Jetstream, I had no idea what fields there are. There's lots of guesswork, so I like to use that. Yeah, your desk keeps going up in. Yeah, no, Ollie, keep your monitors to yourself. Right, okay, so casts. We have got current, which is a Boolean. I'm hoping my connection stays acceptable for this stream. It's not been too bad today, but it did drop out a little earlier. It was right in the middle of a phone call and it just dropped. And I was like, damn it. Public function, the owner belongs to, and then we can say return this belongs to. Related is user, class, foreign key is user ID. Yeah, I did actually see that, Philip. There's a pretty good one by Sparsy. I remember when Brent released it. It's definitely something I might look into. So the provider return this belongs to. The related is provider class. Foreign key is provider ID. And no helper methods right now. I will add some eloquent builder methods pretty soon. Yeah, I mean with the IDE helper, I mean I do have IDE helper in here, so I can generate those IDE helpers. Class team invitation not found, of course. New extends Jetstream team invitation. What else was it erroring over? We'll run it again, see what happens. And now we've got argument one callback method provider callback not static method provider has boot has UID cannot be statically called. Cannot analyze adults not provider. That's annoying. We've got to find a way to fix that. Can't do with that one. Okay. Let's see what we can do with that one. So yeah, we do have it running in the background. So now let me just quickly migrate all of that one. Yeah, Ollie is on quite the setup. Right, so that's peripherals migrated. So next we're going to let's go for software next, because these are the key things, right? If we've got people talk about not using fillables, do I have to? Oh, not a valid argument. I'll just leave it. So, table UID unique UID, and again soft deletes. We need those. We need provider and user. Who is this? Bit of software. Is this software booked out with anyone? Is there a license? Okay, maybe not user. Don't need to worry about user. That is good news. Is this current software? What status is it? Is it in a trial period? So this could be trial, purchased, free. What status is it? Is it trial or purchased? Is this a current piece of software? Provider could be Apple. We're going to have the make of the software. I don't know about make. I'd probably call it the name of the software. So let's think. We could go for what I'm using now. I'm using Ecamm Live, or provider is JetBrains. This might be more obvious to some people. Storm, PHP Storm. So I've got PHP Storm. Type of software, that could be, I don't know, development tool. It could be a planning tool. It could be videography. Now, all of those sorts of things that it could potentially be. Instead of adding categories, we're just going to add that in there. Status code. I mean, software. Table. Add an unsigned integer for licenses. Which I'm going to make nullable because not everything's licensed, right? It could be licensed, it might not be licensed. If it is licensed, how many have we got? We've got 11 licenses, and what we can do is use event sourcing to decrease that every time one's booked out, and then if somebody leaves, you can offboard somebody and add that license back, make that a license then available again. So some software like that. We've got licenses. You have to think about license keys. I have to think about license keys in another way because they're so varied. The way that people do license keys are so varied. It could be one license key is available for 11 people. You could have a license that each person has to have their own license key. It's really, really varied how you do licensing. So I'm just for now, I'm going to keep to the standard, just how many licenses are available. And then maybe when I book it out to a user, I can attach a license that way. So I'll have a look into that one. Licensed until for renewable licenses. That is not a bad idea. We've got to add the purchase stat. We could do like length of license instead of license until. So we purchased it at this date, and that would then get renewed. So we could have an unsigned integer for license period. I'll make that nullable. So that would be something like I don't know, 52 weeks. We're on a 7-day trial, it's 1 week license period. Something like that. You can go 365 days. You can go down to that day value if you really wanted to, but as long as you're keeping it consistent, you're fine. Same with monetary value, you keep out the lowest common denominator. So for this case, I'd probably go like something like that. And if the license doesn't expire, just leave it null. Yeah, I'm going to look at licensing a little bit more in detail after I've gotten this basic version done. Because I agree, licensing needs to be a little bit more than just, I've got 12 licenses. It needs to be a little bit more in depth than that for sure. So we're going to add the use as the UID. Use soft deletes. So we can go UID, name of a software, the type of software that it is, the status of that software, whether it's currently used software, licenses, what the license period might be, what provider it's under, and when it was purchased. Expires that. I mean, that can be ascertained based on that license period when it was purchased, right? I mean, I suppose you might have a valid point there. So we're going to go for this is 1 month in the example there. So we're going to have current as a boolean. We're going to have expires at as a date time. We're going to have purchased at as a date time as well. You know what I've really been wanting to do with this is just to be able to say, I mean, it obviously doesn't work for PHP, but that just where there's multiple, just find a nicer way instead of having to go date time. But if you've got some, like I used to work with property data, and there's lots of very similar things which were that we needed to cast. It just starts to get messy. Right, so public function, who is the provider of this software? Sparsely, for example. Beyond code, could be anyone. So we go belongs to, return this belongs to related provider class, and then a foreign key, provider ID right there. So that is how that's going to work. Yeah, license period can be calculated from purchase and expires. It might not expire. You know, you could be on a trial. This could quite likely be nullable. Purchase that could be nullable. Yeah, you might not have to purchase this license, it may never expire. These could be nullable. It could just be free software, free open source software. UUID is just, yeah, it's more for like giving it a unique reference right now. I mean, I could use a hash ID, and maybe I'd look at using hash IDs later. But for now, I'm slapping in a UUID just because it's going to be useful. So there's a provider. So now that provider can also have public function softwares, have many. Now it's going to grab this software provider ID. Perfect. That does that nicely. So we've got software, hardware, and peripherals. Make migrate. Hey Ryan, how you doing, buddy? So I need to start making some of these filament things, filament resources. So let's go to make PHP. Let's go back to the filament docs. I want to start making some admin panel, getting started, and I need to make a new resource for some stuff. So teams, I'm probably going to remove teams. Don't really want teams. So we're going to go for provider. So now if we come back to our UI, we should have a provider tab. Providers. Callback. Boot. Oh, wait a minute. Did I do something really silly? I did. So now if I make generate, I should now actually fix all of the things that I had complaints about. Laravel UUID. Here we go. So providers. I'm probably going to remove teams. I don't want teams in there. Resources. Team resource. Team. Let's see if I need to clear anything. Providers. New provider. Create. Oh no, I've got nothing to create. Right, okay, so providers. Let's go look at providers, how we're going to create providers in general. So let's open up both of these. We're going to keep the model on this side, and we're going to keep this on this side. So when we're creating one, what we need is like a text input. Make. This one is going to be called, funny enough, make. And another text input. Make. For the model. Now the type. I'm not too sure what to do with a type yet. I'd like to make this an enum, so I'm going to come back to that one. Again, another text input. Make for serial. Status. Again, status. I want to be an enum so that we can control those sorts of things. Just remove Jetstream. I might do. I added it for fun. So current. So this is a checkbox where we make and add current. And the user ID is nullable, but the provider. This is what I need the docs for. We need a select. The select the provider. Let's see what that does by default, to see if I can get a dumb understanding. So if I go back to here, admin panel, form builder, open that up, and come down to where's the select? Where's the select? There's select. Options. And those options are going to be provider, query, get to array. Let's see how that looks. Obviously there isn't one yet, which is fine. I want to take out ID and the name. What's it saying for the options? Yeah. I'll put the name. I'll keep it simple. Provide a name. Get the name, cast it to an array, find an array, nice and simple. So what I'll quickly do is I'm going to actually no, I need to go back and clean some stuff. I'll finish that in a minute. I said provider. Is there any date field support in Filament? Date time picker. Ooh, nice. Oh wait, this is a provider. Why am I looking at peripheral? Oh my. What am I doing? All it needs is a name. All of that for nothing. Oops, is all I could say. So we can say Apple. Actually, we need to add that validation in there, don't we? So we can say required, unique, and takers, providers. Name has already been taken. So now I need to go back to doing tables. So when we're setting this up on the form builder, admin, tables, text column, make based off a name, filters, filter, make name, So you just attach a query to the end of it, basically. So import that class, implement query builder, cool. Where passing options through. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna drop that for now. I'm gonna drop that query to see what it does with that filter in general, and we'll come back and add that later when we need it. 3 is probably enough, if I'm honest. I'm not gonna lie. No, that's not what I need. Don't have any filters, basically. No filters for Steve. Filters not needed. Drop that up there. What we got down here? Get relations. Ooh. So, there's so much we can do. Relations. Relation managers, hey? Where are they coming from? How do you make a relation manager? Make filament has many. Resource post out. Ooh. Okay, I'm gonna come back to relations because that's gonna take a little bit of time to figure out myself. Okay, this is kind of cool. I like filament. It's gonna take a while to get used to because I'm obviously not used to it. Nope. Welcome, Steve McDougall. Providers, Apple. Great, great new provider. This is so fast. This is just ridiculously fast, isn't it? That's a provider. It's done. Okay. Where next? We're going to make PHP again. I need to remember the command for this because obviously I'm using inside a container, so I don't have access to autocomplete and history, as you can see. So next we're going to go, okay, so we've got a provider, we're going to go straight for hardware. Now, I'm testing Filament. I don't know if it's exactly the right thing for what I need, but it's likely to be useful for what I need. That's all I know so far. Let's drop that over there. So, we can go for a text input make, and the name is going to be make. We're going to go for some more text input, we're going to make on it, and we're going to go model. Going to make for the serial number. I mean, this is mostly for operational need. It's not like it's not something that we're going to pass to clients and be like, hey, go manage your stuff. This is just me for personal need right now. It might adapt over time. Most likely going to adapt over time. Text input make for the OS name. Text input make for OS version. Type. Text input make for the RAM. CPU. Right. Let's see what we can do. What can we do? CPU, status. I mean, status, I want it to be a something else later. I'll come back to add that. I need to figure out how I'd like to do that before I put any constraints on the UI, right? Here's our status. We've got a checkbox make for current. Select make for user. For options for that will be user query. I'm going to take just the name, get to array. Let's check. Hardware. Ooh. I need to pluck after. Get everything. Click on the collection. Look at the name. Here we go. Bam. Oh, that's nice. That is what I wanted from this. It looks nice. It's clean. I mean, nice to see dark mode. Just saying. But this on its own is fantastic. Love it. Basically, it's just what I needed right now. Okay, so we need another select. So we're going to do another select based on the provider, and those options are going to be provider, query, get, pluck out name of the provider, and cast that to an array. Provider, Apple, bang. Released a demo app a few hours ago. Oh, really? Okay, let's go with Filament. Have a look. Bang, sign in. That's cool, liking that. Revenue. Oh, I like the dashboards. We have to look into those. Products, customers, orders. I can click and view. Oh, this is nice. Reviews. Cool. Products. Pricing. Whoop, whoop. That's really nice. Edit. This is, yeah, quite obviously the more advanced way to build something with Filament. But yeah, I like that. Oh, yeah, good job. Good job, those people. Definitely check that out if you get time, people. Definitely check it out. I'd like to look at how I can maybe structure this a little bit nicer. Maybe I'll have to check out the demo app a little bit. So, we're going to go for an Apple, Mac, Mini, OS name. It'd be nice if I could override that part. There's a little bit of feedback there for the Filament team. You know, if I'm using Nova, I can pass it the label and value so that I can kind of switch between the two quite nicely. So I can be very specific and be a bit more wordy in how these labels come out. And then you've got the title and the for and the ID and stuff, so it all links nicely. Mac OS. Yeah, Monterey, is that it? Let's go have a look. How about this Mac? Monterey. And then we're going to be on 12.0.1. This is a desktop machine with 16 gig of RAM. It has got an Apple M1 chip. The status is new. It is a current. Create. Ooh, pride array doesn't have a default value. Oh, label. See, I didn't see that in the doc. Maybe it's something that I could PR on the docs. Be nice to figure out how I can do this bit nicely. I think that might just have to be a relation thing that I have to do properly. So I might have to look into relations in more detail. I think it's relations that I need. Relations. Let's go have a look. So, make a filament has many Post title. Okay, so create a relation manager. Let's go have a look at that then. Let's do that. Ooh, and the label is going to be my music is a child screeching. No, it is. I'm really struggling with the stream beats thing at the minute. There seems to be a lot not working. I don't want to go Christmas or ambient. That's a little bit boring. So I stuck on dubstep. But how about some drum and bass? Can't play this right now. Can't play this right now. I can't play most of those. We have hi-fi. Name ID. Oh, okay, so yeah, I should really look at what it's saying there, shouldn't I? Yeah. Yeah, Filament, look, it's just looking at it, it's amazing. The value is... See, I'm very used to seeing it the other way around, so it confused me. So that's my bad. Approach that, cool. So we can go, nice, we're getting there. Date, time, picker, make. We're going to say the label is going to be when was this purchased. Ooh, that was a Steve error. So bear with me. So when was this purchased? Date picker, bang. Cool. Belongs to Steve. It's an Apple device. It is a Mac Mini M1. The serial is some random string. Operating system is Mac OS Monterey 12.0.0. Oh, no. Type desktop, RAM 16 gig, CPU is a Apple M1 chip, status new, can't remember what I was going to do, great. Oh, hardware, obviously it's not showing up right now because I've not got anything to display. Yeah, loads of those, a lot of them are a little bit messed up right now, aren't they? It'd be nice to get them sorted. So columns. Yeah, text column for the make. Label is make. Don't need a label, but yeah, I like to be declarative. So I don't need that anymore. It's a make model. I do. Right, so we got make model. Nice. This is actually pretty cool, guys. I actually quite enjoy this. It reminds me very much like reminds me of Nova, but in a nicer way. Like, I mean, there's obviously some frustrations I've had with Nova in the past. But this looks like it's offering me that bit in the middle that I just didn't have. It's not booked out. That's cool. So we can add like a like an active column or anything like that I can use, like a checkbox or in the table. Naming convention, what could it possibly be? We've got a text column, which I guess with columns. Image, Boolean column. Make for current. I'm going to label that as currently used. Oh, nice. Look at that. And if I save that, go back there. That's nice. That is super nice. Can you do anything else? Like, what else can it do? Label default attributes false. Get state true action. And there we go. Badge column. Ooh. If I go yes, go back to hardware. Oh no, I don't want that. I prefer the Boolean. Boolean's so much nicer. So I can go. Ooh. Oh, I can delete. Oh, this is nice. So cool, isn't it? So just simple. I can add hardware. I can say, you know, this is currently booked out to Steve. Eventually, I'd like to go over to the users and see what I've got booked out and what I haven't got booked out. Add more providers where I need to. I can start customizing the menu so I can chunk it out a little bit. Play with a theme. Development, registering resources, widgets, front end, navigation. Register navigation groups. Navigation items. Cool. You can dive deep into there, so you can start doing stuff with widgets. Make cards for for your dashboard. Nice. So there's a lot I can do here. So I mean, this is just going to be like lots of UI stuff. So I'm not going to go through absolutely everything tonight. But you can see how easy it is to use. And there's filters, so I can do like how was filters done again? It takes a while to learn these things, right? So we can say filter make current, and the query we want to do is, what does that query take? Just callable. We can say builder. Okay, well, we could say builder if we could type today. We want the query builder, and what we want this to do is it's going to say builder where Ooh. So I passed in the wrong builder apparently. I'll make sure I get the right builder. Database element builder, not the query builder. Edit that. Save that. Come back to hardware. Filter just to current. There's no record found. That's nice. Yeah, I really need to simplify those. It's much nicer that way, right? Oh, sometimes I really don't like the auto formatting done by PHP Storm. It's just a little bit kind of janky. Hey dude, how you doing? So we don't need forms or table. Oh, yeah. What can we do? What can we do? So that's just doing that sort of stuff, and that works nicely. We know we can now create new hardware. We can add a new one, manage our providers. Filters can also take their own labels. Ooh. Filter, make query, label, currently used. Oh, nice. It seems, it seems like you can reconfigure quite a lot of this stuff. Oh, yeah. Hey Mark, how you doing, mate? So we've been able to get providers working. I can go in and I can, work with that. Add a provider, create a new provider. Go to hardware. Create some new hardware, whether make, model, serial number, operating system, OS version, type, CPU status, if it's current bit of hardware or not. That styling's a bit off. It might be something I need to do with that one. It'd be nice if that was like a check label instead, or a switch maybe. So a checkbox, maybe we have a switch. There's a checkbox, but the styling's just a bit kind of wonky donkey there. It's got a date picker. Is it checked out to anyone? What provider? I mean, it would be nice to do like searching in these things, but I haven't looked into it properly. So now we've got hardware, we've got software in the background, we've got peripherals. So let's make sure I add some of these. Yeah, definitely need to fix that one. So here, I just need to go through and add some labels, right? Yeah, no, that'd be really cool. Getting both Dan and Ryan jumping on the stream to help me with this. So here's providers, software, peripherals, hardware. let's just look at this nav. Let's look at nav next. So, pages, getting started with pages, navigation getting started. Cool. Grouping navigation items, navigation group. So, when I come to my resources, I can do navigation group. Could probably do something like meta for now, because that's like more meta information. I'll rename later. Bam. Then obviously you can also add things like a peripheral is bookable stuff. And our bookable stuff. So then if we go back to software, software is bookable. Hardware is also bookable. And obviously using heroicons in the background, so I can go to here and I can go something like a desktop computer. Bam. So then there we go. And we could go look for something like a keyboard. Like camera, maybe. Peripherals can be camera. Software. No, not a disk. Can I get like a floppy? Oh, it's only a floppy disk. What can you do for software? I'll think of one later. Your background music. Well, I'm sorry, but I'm not going to sing for you, Ollie. We've not hit that stage in our relationship yet. I suppose one of my questions when using something like Filament is, what do I do for testing? Yeah, how do I test Filament effectively? Or is it the components that were tested that I don't need it? Yeah, I'm not sure. My kid's okay. They could well be playing and shouting at each other. I have enough of them that it happens a lot. Okay, so you can build like a chart as well, blog post, data set. So this is obviously chart.js under the hood. Yeah, I don't sing. It's just not what I do. You can see pages in your pages directory. There's a pages directory. You see that? Pages. List hardware. What do I do with pages? Ooh, pages now. Ah, okay, that's cool. Oh god, they're wrestling. That's nice. So they're pretty much just components that I could test using the Livewire utilities, which is kind of nice. Nice to know, right? Cool. Getting started with pages, actions on pages, dashboard, navigation, users, setting up avatars if you really wanted to. There's so much. Registering navigation groups. So I probably would want to put that in the app service provider. I've probably reserved that for other stuff. So if I pick the artisan, make a provider, before I do that, is there one already? Because I don't want to type it for no reason. Nope. Create Filament service provider. So we've got meta, do meta below, and bookable things that are bookable about. We'll keep settings in there as well. Let's see what happens when we do this. Nothing in settings yet, so it's not displaying. I probably could do a lot of it. I mean, it's going to be like small aspects of it that I'm not sure how to do. Like I want to override certain behavior when we're booking things out. Like I think before I finish today, let's look at relations. Relations is going to be one thing. Relations. I need to look at relations. Let's go. Go. So, so if I just look at like the user model, I can see that they have many hardwares, softwares, and peripherals. So I need to say that they, let's test it. Cashier integrated, of course you are, Ryan. You're worse than me. So we're going to do a has many on the, let's go hardware resource. Posts and title, so it's name of relationship you want to manage. And title is the name of the attribute that we'll use to identify posts. Okay, so hardware resource. Not really. I want to do like a user resource, don't I? So user resource, hardwares, make user resource get relations. So in user resource, I need to make that resource. Keep the artisan, make filament resource. User resource. Text column, the name. Sort of clean, simple, just so I can actually have a look at this quickly. Users, that's going to be in meta stuff. I keep users in meta because it's not super vital for now. Ooh. Commands have aliases. Filament has many. Oh, that's nice. I like that. So, get relations. So in the user now, get relations, I can go hardware relationships. How does this work then? I go to users. Hardware is none found. So if I go to hardware, edit this, select myself. Has that been edited? That's not editing, is it? Okay. So let's go back to hardware resource a second. Saved. Look at this one. So let's go look at that here. So the form, so we're displaying it, we're going to have a text column, make, name, make, text column, make, model, label. Nice. Belongs to select. Ooh. Yeah, I'm going to copy that. So can I copy that? Use belongs to select. Cool. Let's have a look. This is really fun to do. So that is on the hardware resource, obviously. That's my bad. Hey, owner. Nice. That's actually much nicer. What about this checkbox here, Dan? It's obviously kind of half floaty. Is there a better way to do that one? You might be able to help me with that one. So we're going to go for provider ID in here. Create another one. Nice. Is this where I need to like manually create a table or wrap it into something, I suppose? That kind of works. I wonder if there's like a Boolean input. Nice to have like that switch. Let's go look at the form component. Is there something in here for the forms, like a switch? Because that'd be cool, just gonna flick it on. Generate. Ooh. Toggle. Haha, that's what I'm looking for. Is that going to do what I want? Saved. Back to hardware. It's on. So if I turn it off, saved, it's off. Perfect. Although, yeah, I think that also needs to be simplify that one. That's better. Right, so that's me almost at 2 hours already. So I've got hardware, peripherals, software. Obviously I've not filled in all of the kind of columns yet, but now I've got users that can have hardware that can edit, and a nice little modal, edit that user in the same place, and I've got a nice view. It would be nice on the hardware as well if I could perhaps go into this piece of hardware and say, check it out to a user down here, or have some sort of way to build up a workflow. So I want to do this, and instead of just saving directly, I want to go through my own custom process. That's something I'll have a look in the docs for, because obviously I've not used Filament before. This is my first time using Filament. Very impressed for an admin UI so far. What I'd like to see if I can do next is do my own things. Yeah, add my own custom code. I want to add event sourcing so that I can, when a user gets assigned, I want to trigger an aggregate route and trigger an event and do the nice stuff that I like to do in the background. I don't want to lean on observers too much if I have to. If I have to use observers, it's how you do it, but it'd be nice not to have to. Cool. Well, that is starting to build an asset management platform. Very straightforward, very simple, using Filament and Laravel. As previously stated, disconnect from the container. I probably don't need Jetstream, if I'm honest. I probably didn't need it. Ooh. Fortify.php. Let's just remove that config file next. Make sure it's cleaning up. Providers, Fortify service provider. Config, do I need to remove anything from here? Yes. Hey. Yeah, no, this is super clean, super useful. Dark mode. Dan, Ryan, dark mode. I mean, I know I could probably do that myself. Obviously, that needs to be running a watch or something in the background. Be nice to have. Not a requirement, obviously, but it'd be by default if it's game of dark mode, that'd make it super quick and easy. Just having to create my own custom theme, but now just splitting hairs. It's a great product, great package. It's allowed me to create loads of forms really quickly without having to put any effort in. Yeah, I'm super impressed with this. Really like it. I'm gonna make sure I can still remove this because it's still not been removed. Now we're good. Alright, I'm not going to push it up to GitHub yet because it needs tidying, it needs work, it needs some stuff doing. Let me know on Twitter. Do you want to see me stream this again next time, or do you want to see me maybe go and stream the CRM API instead again? What would you like to see next? I'm going to talk to both Dan and Ryan about jumping on a stream with me. I can split to an interview view and switch over to here and people can start seeing things, but 2 hours, get an admin system ready to rock and roll. Yeah, I kind of agree with you there, Dan. Maybe a theme you could offer, or someone could offer. Be nice to see. But that is all the time I've got for tonight. I'm going to go spend some time with my wife. And I'm also going to think about what the heck I'm going to do for my Laracon talk. I'm thinking the GitHub API, let me know. I've been looking at the GitHub API and it seems like most people are going to be able to relate to GitHub, whereas if I go for an obscure API or this specific API, people might not have used it, but oh, thanks wife. She's just buttering me up. She's after a Chinese. She's definitely after a Chinese. Right, but as usual, description down below there is a link to my Discord, so please feel free to jump on, have a chat, give me some feedback, talk to me, always good to talk to people. Like, please don't unlike, it hurts my feelings. No. Give me some honest feedback, drop some comments, subscribe if you'd like to see more. The ones that you like, I can start going back through and start seeing what people are liking more. Because view counts don't really give me that much insight. I get a lot more insight from likes. So please make sure you like if you enjoyed it, so I know that I can to stream more of this sort of content. If you didn't like this, don't worry. We got other stuff we got coming on. But again, thank you very much. Have a great night. I'm going to spend some time with my wife. Thank you very much and good night.